and I was asked to bring some sides that were not only delicious but also vegan friendly. I'm gonna be one of the only few vegans that are there, but they wanted to make sure that there were options for all of us. And so I decided today to bring my damn good vegan macaroni and cheese, coleslaw, and street corn. In this demo, you'll get to see exactly how I make all three. My name is Danni McGhee, and today we're going to make some delicious bomb vegan cookout classics that have been veganized that you can bring to any cookout, and look, they probably won't even be able to tell that it's vegan. So here we go. First thing I'm gonna do is bring some water to boil so that I can prepare my noodles, and while that is boiling, then I will be making my sauce for the macaroni and cheese. While we're waiting for the water to come to a boil, let me introduce you to all of the ingredients we're gonna need for the macaroni and cheese. Got some elbow noodles. I have here soy milk, and then I also have some coconut milk. This makes it super creamy. I also have vegan cheese, vegan butter, some all-purpose flour, and then these are the seasonings I'll be using: salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and paprika. Yep, so this is everything that I will need for this particular recipe. And then when it comes to the kitchen tools, you will need a large pot to boil your noodles. You'll also need another saucepan to make your sauce, because you want to make them separately and then you'll incorporate them together. You'll also need a few other cooking utensils. You may want some measuring spoons and cups, a can opener, and some stirring spoons. And then also you're gonna want to have a colander so that you can strain the noodles after they've boiled. And then you'll also need a large casserole dish so that you can bake your macaroni and cheese in. Okay, so this is starting to come to a boil, and some things that I forgot to mention is that I already have my oven preheating to 350 degrees because we will be baking this macaroni and cheese after we put all the ingredients together. Also, I forgot to mention I also will be adding some mustard to this recipe, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and add in my elbow noodles. And you really just wanna cook this according to the package. So this one says cook for 7 minutes if you want it al dente, or 10 minutes if you want it softer. But when you're making macaroni and cheese, you actually want to cook it al dente because it's going to be baking in the oven along with the sauce, and that will add more moisture to the noodles. So you don't want them too mushy after they've come out of the oven. I'm going to move this pot over to my actual stovetop because this cooktop is a little small for both of my pans. And I'm also gonna set my timer for 7 minutes so I don't forget. All right, so now in this saucepan, I'm going to make the sauce for the macaroni and cheese. This part takes probably as long as it's gonna take to make the noodles. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, as the pan is heating up, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my vegan butter. Here I'm using Earth Balance. And I need 3 tablespoons of vegan butter added to the pan. That's 1, 2, and 1 more. And we're gonna just wait until the butter has melted down. And while that is melting, I'm going to put 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour into a bowl to prepare to add it to the pot. Okay, so I have 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour here. It is actually gluten-free flour. And I want to grab my whisk, and at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and check on these elbow noodles, give them a stir, make sure they're not sticky, because they were. And now they're all good. Okay. So now that our butter is all melted down, I'm going to add in the all-purpose flour and stir that around. And you want to keep this moving in the pan. You don't want this to burn at all. This is your roux, the beginning of your roux, and you want it to be nice and melted together, cooked. You want to cook the flour a bit just to get that floury taste out of it. And then you want to prepare to add in your milk. I forgot to pre-pour this, but I will now. I need 2 cups of plant milk. You can use any plant milk that you like, but for this recipe, I am using soy milk. Okay, and so 2 cups fills up this whole mason jar. And we're going to be adding this in very slowly. So So now that we have the milk in, now we're going to add in the coconut milk. And before I add in the coconut milk, I'm going to whisk this mixture together just a little bit more to ensure that there's no clumps in here. Coconut milk, we're going to add in a whole can. And mix that together. So at this point, you shouldn't see any clumps in your mixture. Okay, now we want to go ahead and season our mixture. I'm going to add in some salt. And you want to salt that to taste, whatever is your comfort level. Oh, there are our pasta noodles, so let me go ahead and grab those and drain them in the colander. Those will just strain and be ready for us to use as soon as we're done with our sauce. Okay, so we've added salt. Now we're going to add a little bit of black pepper. Some onion powder. Oh, you know what? I'm forgetting one of the most important seasonings. I'm going to grab in a second. Some garlic powder, some paprika. Let me grab that. I love to add Italian seasoning to my macaroni and cheese as well. So I'm gonna add in about 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning, and then I'm gonna give this a stir. Smells delicious already. And guess what? We're almost done. This sauce, as I'm stirring it, I can tell that it is getting thicker as it gets warmer. My goal right now is to bring this to a boil. And then after I bring it to a boil, then I'm gonna be adding in my cheese. Okay, it looks like it's finally starting to come to a boil. It is definitely getting thicker and creamier. So I love that. I remember that I had some vegan cheddar slices in the refrigerator that was open that I needed to use as well. I had 1 pack of this cheese, so I'm gonna save most of this to put on the top, and I am gonna add in the slices to this mixture. But usually you could probably just get like 2 packs of these shreds and then add them directly to the pot. But I'm just gonna add in these slices, and maybe I'll chop them up first before adding them. So I'm just dicing these up into cubes to make it easier for them to melt. But again, the recipe calls for shreds, so that's probably easier, but I knew I had these on hand to use, so I wanted to get those used up before they went bad. All right, so adding in that much, and then I'm gonna add in some more of the shreds, saving some for the top of the mac and cheese, and then I'm just gonna stir this until the cheese has melted. For this recipe, I chose to use the Daya brand. This is their new formula that's made with oat cream, and I find that this brand has now upped their game a lot, and I like how it melts. I like the flavor of it. I'm also a fan of So Delicious, Violite. There's a lot of great vegan cheeses out there, but I say give them a try, get recommendations from your vegan friends to see what they like. And try different brands, because you never know what you might like. Somebody may like one and think it's the best, and then you try and you're like, it's okay. So I would say just experiment with the brands and see what you like the best. Okay, so this cheese is almost all the way melted. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I am going to add in my elbow noodles. Mixing all of this together just to make sure that all of the sauce is incorporated with the noodles. I like to mix it a lot because I even want some of the sauce to go inside of the elbow noodles, and that just makes for a really good mac and cheese. Here's my casserole pan, and I'm gonna go ahead and first I'm gonna move this cooktop out of the way. to put it in. Put a little bit of mustard. All right, and mix that together. Okay, now we're good to go. I knew something was missing. All right, so now I'm going to transfer this into my casserole. Now I'm gonna add the rest of these shreds right on top. Before I put it in the oven, I do like to add a little bit of black pepper right on top and a little bit of paprika. Now I'm gonna put this in the oven for 30 minutes at 350 degrees. And while this is baking, we're gonna make the street corn and the coleslaw. And then one thing that I do, I mean, you can cover this with aluminum foil, but I don't really buy aluminum foil. So I'm going to take a baking pan like this, and I'm gonna flip it on top. And this is how I'm gonna cover it in the oven. Okay, now that I got everything cleaned up from the macaroni and cheese, we're gonna get started on the corn because the corn also has to go into the oven for about 20 minutes. So I've got corn, a lime, pepper, salt, garlic powder and chili powder, as well as some vegan mayo. So we can put all this to the side for now and prepare the corn. So of course you can buy the corn that's already been shucked, but I tend to default and get the corn that's already in the husk. Is that what it's called? Yeah, that's what it's called, right? So I remove the husk. I really hope that's the name of it. Yeah. I am doubting myself now, but you want to remove all of the stringy strings in the inside, all right? I do like to leave this bottom part on. I feel like it acts like a handle as I'm eating the corn, so it ends up being perfect. So you want to go ahead and shuck all of your corn. And if you want, you can also cut them in half if you know you want smaller pieces for your guests. But I like a whole ear of corn. And then I know that some people, and I used to do it, I used to wrap all of my corn in aluminum foil, but now that I don't buy aluminum foil like that, I actually started just putting the corn straight onto a baking sheet into the oven, and it comes out just as good. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw all of this into the compost. All right, let's get all this off of here. This can get messy, so be prepared for that. And then now I'm going to rinse the corn just to make sure I've gotten it 100% clean and all of the strings that are inside have come off. I'm gonna take a baking sheet, lay them right on this baking sheet, and put them in the oven along with the macaroni and cheese. This is gonna bake for 20 minutes, and then we'll do all of the seasoning and decorating and deliciousness that we have to add to the corn. It's kind of perfect timing because I put the corn in when there was almost exactly 20 minutes left on the timer. So now we're gonna prepare the coleslaw. I've gathered all of the ingredients for my vegan's coleslaw in this bowl. I have some maple syrup, apple cider vinegar, Dijon mustard, a lemon, and I need salt and pepper. And I'm taking the lazy route today, and I just grabbed a bag of slaw mix. This is the rainbow slaw. There's a bunch of different types in your local grocery store. And if you want, you can slice up the cabbage, the carrots, the onions, and every other ingredient you want in your slaw by hand. But if you want to save some time, you can grab a bag and make this recipe in less than 5 minutes. So first things first is open your bag of slaw and add that to your bowl. Okay. Next, we're going to basically add in all of these ingredients. Let me grab a spoon and my citrus juicer. Okay, so, I need a spoon. Okay. So I'm gonna add in about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, a tablespoon of maple syrup, I'm gonna salt and pepper to taste. And I'm gonna add in the juice of a lemon. Stir this all together. Okay, now that we've incorporated all of these flavors, now we're going to add in, I forgot the vegan mayo. I already had it over here, that's why I forgot to put it in the bowl. So today I'm using the Hellmann's brand. The Hellmann's brand you can pretty much find at most grocery stores nowadays. It's at Walmart, at pretty much everywhere. So I tend to get this one, but there's tons of vegan mayo brands out there. Adding in some mayo. And with coleslaw, I know everybody has their moisture levels of how they like it. So add in as much mayo or as little mayo as you like. Our slaw is looking like. Now this slaw can be just eaten as a side, or you can put this right on top of like a jackfruit, barbecue jackfruit slider. Eat it alongside some barbecue tofu, or some barbecue like seitan ribs. Delicious. Okay. All right. So it's best to store this in the refrigerator until you are ready to head out to your cookout. We have about 10 more minutes minutes before the corn comes out of the oven. So I'm gonna go ahead and put together the seasoning blend that's going to give our corn the amazing flavor that you want it to have. And we're also going to slice up the lime that's going to garnish the corn. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this lime into wedges. So we've got about 8 wedges of lime here. In this bowl, I'm gonna go ahead and put together the seasoning blend, and the base is going to be chili powder. This blend does come with a little bit of garlic powder, but I do like to add a little extra. I'm gonna add some black pepper and some salt. Now I'm gonna stir this around, ensuring that all of the seasoning is blended together. And this is ready for our corn. So now we just gotta wait for the corn to come out of the oven. All right, so that is the timer for the macaroni and cheese and the corn. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull both of them out, or we're gonna start making the corn first. Here are the corn straight out the oven. Let me grab a plate. So using some tongs just to make sure we're staying safe, I'm gonna use that to remove the corn from the baking sheet. Push it out of the way. Okay. So now I'm gonna grab a spatula and I'm going to take my vegan mayo and spread mayo over each of these. And then I'm going to use the spatula to fully coat the corn. So now that the mayo is all over the corn, we're gonna take our seasoning and sprinkle the seasoning around the corn. Okay, there we go. So that is the corn. Okay, let's put that to the side. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grab the macaroni. Oh, you know what? Before we put that to the side, I don't wanna forget that we can also garnish it with a little bit of lime juice to give it a nice tang. I'm gonna do about 2 wedges. Perfection. Yum, yum, yum. Oh, you know what? I have some cilantro. I have some fresh cilantro in the refrigerator. So I'm gonna go ahead and dice some of this up to add an extra garnish to the corn. Okay, so dice that up really quickly, and then I'm just going to throw that right on top, just sprinkle it. And there we go. All right, so we have corn. And let me put this to the side so we can grab the macaroni and cheese, and I'm gonna pull the vegan slaw out of the refrigerator. Here is the mac and cheese, yum. So this is our spread. It looks amazing. Check that out. So imagine being at the cookout, eating all of these wonderful, delicious sides along with a black bean burger, a carrot dog, some barbecue tofu, some veggie skewers, and all of the dope vegan classics. And if you haven't heard, we have the Afro-Vegan Guide to a Bomb Vegan Cookout article and blog on our website, so definitely make sure you check that out. The link to that will be in the description of this video, as well as the link to all of these recipes. So I'm gonna pack this up and head to the cookout before I'm late. But you know what, I'm going to the cookout. I know I'm not gonna be late. They probably just firing up the grill. So all right, y'all, have a wonderful and safe cookout season, and try these recipes and let us know what you think.
Thanks so much for watching. To learn more about how to remove dairy from your diet, download our free Dairy-Free Living Guide today.